Thank you for, well, one, honestly, thank you for the opportunity to be part of Dow Rush Week. Me and Victor have been really excited just to be able to push the project and just to be able to get it out there and show it to everyone. We've been working hard this past year to bring this to fruition. Um, I am the marketing manager over at Shenanigans. Um, you know, my job is to help bring Shenanigans to the world. Shenanigans is built by athletes for athletes, and we really do want to change the paradigms of just the lives of everyone. A lot of people think that this is geared just towards athletes, but it's geared towards honestly anyone that wants to just add change, innovation, and just like challenge to their life. Shenanigans can be done by the youngest kids out there, just trying to push themselves and I'll say grind their sport, whether that's football, basketball, video games, gymnastics, anything that anyone's passionate about. And then, it could be a grandma just trying to stay active and find motivation to, just do things. Um, we really hope that with this project and, with our DAO that it invites people to join. We're open DAO. We allow anyone to come in and start earning credit. Community contribution is everything. We're built by athletes for athletes. That's why we've open sourced, 50% of our net code, so that people can go in, look at it, and if there's any changes or anything that you think can either enhance it or that you want to see fixed, we can do that. In our DAO, or in our Discord, we do votes on everything so that our community is included in, the project. Without the community and without everyone support, we wouldn't be where we are today. And it's just been an honor to be able to be here with you guys and present this to you. And I'm going to send it over to Victor to start you all off.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Malik, you hit that right on the head. Like, that was awesome. Great introduction, man. Thank you. I think really what, like, we want to start with is, like, what Shenanigan is, and not what we are as a Ethereum product or a Web3 product, but what we are trying to do for the world. Like, what are we trying to do for these basketball players, these football players, these grandmas trying to get off the couch? Like Malik said, like, I don't know, I'm kind of tearing up because I haven't heard him say, I haven't heard anything out of my brain say these things that I've been thinking for a few years, and honestly, I'm sure the rest of the community has been thinking too. So we are oriented toward athletes, right? Right now, let's look at the problem. Like, what we're trying to do, like, we have to solve something, and there's a problem in the world. Athletes just don't have a place on the internet for them. They have, you could think Instagram and kind of Twitch, kind of Facebook, or any of those, maybe TikTok, but those are geared towards entertainment and entertainers, and kind of like just leave all the people that work 8 hours a day improving themselves kind of in the dust, right? You orient yourself towards clickbait then, or you orient yourself towards entertainment. We want to be there for athletes. So two things: we Web3 athletes, right? We want our product to align with them improving, and like one thing athletes are really good at are setting these atomic goals, right? And we want those goals to be able to be captured and incentivized and like put into like rewarded, right? We want them to set goals that are reachable and attain those goals and then move past them, right? So have this like kind of cascading, right, reward. And we also want like, they're content creators. We want them to be able to create content that is oriented towards them and not towards entertainment, right? There's millions of fans out there of athletes, right? And you kind of have like the 1% of athletes for these millions of fans, right? Like LeBron James, right, has they're going to be the first athlete billionaire probably, right? And then you have, Michael Phelps winning all these gold medals. But really, there's this whole echelon of athletes below them that have just as many people that know them, but really don't have the same like clout, don't have the same rapport, mainly because like we live in this 1% internet, and we're really trying to like dilute that. So we also have the Web3 fans, right? And we want this kind of grassroots like buildup of these athletes, right? So fans are you can invest in the athlete's future. You can collect their content, right? So if this athlete does something amazing, you can collect it, kind of like a baseball card, and what baseball cards are capturing, but on the blockchain. Yeah, and speaking of growth here, right? You're following the athlete's growth. Shenanigan has had some recent growth the last few months, and I think Malik's really excited to talk to you guys about that. So Malik, tell us about all that.
Can everybody hear me? Yeah, am I good?
Yeah, you're good. I can hear you.
Ever. So when Victor introduced me to this project, it was last year, April. I was very new to the crypto space. I knew honestly nothing about crypto, Ethereum or Web3 at all. And we started off with maybe 20 people in our Discord. On September 15th of last year, we were licensed as a Tech LLC, Shenanigans Tech LLC to be exact. And within that year, when we started with maybe only 20 Discord members. And it started within the first 3 months, it stayed that way. And then once we actually started, I'll say grinding, and putting, just our dreams out there, we started growing. We started with a liquidity mining event, and when we started, it went from 20 to 100, and then every week after that, we just gained exponential growth. That picture that you see that has 299 members, I took that just as a milestone, just randomly one night, just to see how far we had come. Because to me, if you had told me that when we started that we would get to, 150 members, I wouldn't have believed you. There's no way. And if you told me that within the span of 5 months that we would grow from 20 to 600 plus members in Discord, that's insane to me. And the two images that you see on the screen, the one on the left side is our original logo. That's the logo that we started out with when we brought in our graphic designer, Andrew. Very grassroots designs. That's not even the first logo that we started with. And the one on the right is the logo that we have now. This is the logo that you'll find on our website, on our white paper, and it's also the logo that we allow our Discord members to alter and edit, so that they can earn cred, to be able to give back in their contributions.
Yep. Nice. Speaking of like that growth, right? I think most of this growth is like, we're speaking in speculation. Shenanigan hasn't released the product yet outside of like our insider build. We really want to release a mobile app for these athletes at the beginning to kind of capture this like mobile, active life that these athletes have. And with that, like that growth is just all speculative. And we really want like to show you our product. And I think the first thing about this product is She, right? I think you've heard of She. She is like this ethereal goddess, right? She's risen from the ether, out of the love that these athletes have for their sport. Like, it's kind of funny. Like you're wondering, like, who is She? Like, what is She? She is our DAO. Basically, like, you can call it, she's the name for our DAO, but she's, we always like to say she is truth, right? We don't really use she. She is the panel of judges that will allow Shenanigan to basically not judge these athletes, but to judge and determine what happens. So the way we can think about this, if an athlete's doing a push-up, right? What could be a push-up, right? You can have push-ups on your knees. You can have push-ups. Do you have to touch your fists with your chest? There's like a million different ways that you can judge a correct push-up, and so we want the community to decide what is correct and what's not. So she is like all of these decentralized entities coming together, and we use a quadratic vote with the particle token, which is actually earned through source cred. We like Malik was saying, we're integrated with to kind of have this like very flat but still semi-skewed towards the more active in the Discord vote on what is, in your opinion, was this push-up correct, or was this mile done in the right time, etc., etc. So the whole point of the particle is like you are part of she, right? You're part of her energy. You're part of this like larger, and that's kind of what the DAO is. That's why we say we're not just for athletes. We are also for anybody, really. If you will earn rewards for being just a part of she and being a part of these votes and helping athletes like come to a decision on whether they did it correctly or if there's anything fishy or not. Moving forward, I want to talk about really the Shenanigan app and the project itself. I think there's a lot to it, but what's really cool is once you see the vision, there's really not that complicated, and to use it, it's super simple. We actually don't even require a MetaMask account or anything like that. I'm excited to tell you about that, but we can talk about that at the end when we're talking about like onboarding these like new athletes that aren't a part of the space. For now, though, the project has a few like citadels of information or of content, right? We use NFTs, we use personal tokens, and we use DAOs. So NFTs obviously are kind of growing, and they're like popping off right now, right? Like they're going to be huge. I think 2021 is going to be the year of the NFT. Maybe in the future that'll be personal tokens, and I think this whole decade is the decade of the DAO. What we want to do with these NFTs is actually capture the likeness of athletes. You can think of like a Wheaties box, right? Like that Wheaties box has what's his name? Michael Phelps on the Wheaties box, and that's his likeness, and so he earned some kind of reward, monetization. I can't remember the word, unfortunately, but monetization from that Wheaties box. What is that word? Personal tokens actually are the skin in the game for these like fans and these athletes, right? Like, athletes are kind of in an interesting spot because they are the product, right? They've become these sort of slaves to owners and to ads and advertisements. Like, why are there like billboards on or not? They're advertisements on like NASCAR cars, right? Or like you wear a certain brand of shoe, right? Shoe brands are huge in NBA, and we really want this to not be the case anymore, and we don't want them to be these slaves. We want this connection to be directly from fans directly to the athlete, and kind of as the athlete as a brand. And then finally the DAOs is kind of where that comes together. We want these like DAO, these fan clubs, right, of like where these community and the athlete can talk and vote and have these like orientation towards the athlete and figure out how that works. I think like one thing you could think of is these are not binding votes. Like we're not saying like, hey, do this today and you have to. It's more like, hey, you could try doing this today or this, and the DAO can kind of just have this nice feedback from the athlete, which really doesn't exist. I think Web3 does it best in that sense. And so moving forward, the first NFT would be the challenges. I think this is just such an important aspect of Shenanigan that I put it first. We said at the beginning, or I said at the beginning, like goals are a big part. Athletes can set goals. They're very good at setting goals. So tokenizing those goals, tokenizing the action of the athlete. Think about it like that, right? Excuse me. So on the Shenanigan app, you might be asking, what the heck's the app for? We want athletes to stream these goals and in order to capture them inside of this challenge card. We use that stream to then push it to the DAO and have that resolution. And, those goals can be anything. Like I said, push-ups, mile times, whatever. We save that stream to IPFS along with like the result from She, and we put it on the blockchain as a challenge card. So you can think like, well, the first time I did 10 push-ups, right, I didn't make it, but it still got saved as a fail on the blockchain. But further, if I do it a second time and I make it, it's then saved as a success, right? And we kind of have this ledger building of attempts that these athletes have tried, for the community. Personally, I was a gymnast, and we used to have these, like, whenever you got a new skill, right, as a gymnast, you'd go and you'd ring this freaking bell in the middle of the freaking gym, and it's super loud, everyone could hear it, and once you heard it, you said, it was kind of your role as a gymnast, what did you do? And then you'd have to yell, right, backflip, right, and then you'd have to go do it in front of the whole gym, right, and then that's kind of like, you got to prove that you did it, right, and it's like really exciting. It's honestly like one of my favorite things about the gym, even though it sucked to do. It was like, oh, I want to go ring the bell, and so kind of
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and Malik was a gymnast with me as well in the back. It was amazing. And you'd see people who were doing, tiny little 10-year-olds doing cartwheels, or like big, back at the time they were big 19-year-olds. Right now, I guess I'm older than that, who were doing, back, double, pike, spin, right? Things, Milishnikovs, or these crazy skills that I didn't even know the name of at the time. The tokens, right? The personal tokens are also big. So what personal tokens, like, I think they're so new that people are a little worried about them. They don't really know, right, what the future looks like. Like, are we just going to have these, like, token slaves, for lack of better words? Like, are we just going to have people... There's a few people doing it, like Alex, who I think is really inspiring. I do hold a little bit of Alex. But I think really athletes are the perfect pilot for these personal tokens, because we can't get around them being the product. They are the product. Their bodies and what they do, their brains are the product. And I think it's a perfect pilot. So where you can think of the challenge cards as being a, like the image of the athlete, this is like the brand of the athlete, right? Like, so it's not the likeness. This is more, well, what's the speculation, right? If an NBA player like LeBron James, back when he was in high school, right, if he was going to the NBA, his token's going to go up, right? Whether he got drafted first, whether he got drafted second, right? And these are things that are outside of Shenanigan, but will affect Shenanigan in itself. And like, we want to build that because what's so cool is like, the athlete owns this, right? This is of the athlete. Shenanigan doesn't take away anything from the athlete. We can go over how we make money later in the talk, but really we don't own these tokens. Like, this is not of Shenanigan. We just basically tell the athlete, click a button, it's theirs. And for people that are wondering, who are out there, like, how does these tokens work and how we plan on them working? What powers the token is the athlete himself or herself. Athletes, I think problem with personal tokens right now is, okay, at the beginning you're minting 1 billion tokens, and then the person who owns it owns all of the tokens, and he can just rug pull. Actually, that's not how it works here. With this fan token, athletes actually earn the tokens as well as the fans. So fans do it by holding what we call energy cards, which I'll go over next slide, and then athletes do it by completing challenges. You could think of it like, actually the way it works, if a challenge is too hard, the athlete will not be making enough, and if the challenge is too easy, he or she are going to dilute their own token, right? And so there's this cool balancing act of like setting these goals and setting these challenges, and some really cool factors there. that I'm really excited to share. We just released our first Tour de Particle blog post today, talking about challenge cards. The next one is going to be about fan tokens. I'm really excited about that. I'm actually going to go back one slide. Sorry about that. Our MVP that we're releasing is actually stopping at challenges. So this is pretty much Shenanigan 0.1 right here. Just wanted to say that. Moving on. We'll get to questions at the end as well, if anyone has questions. I hope you do. Just for the people watching at home. Yeah, I said I'll talk about them, energy cards, and kind of this dathlete market in general. You can think of when an athlete does their attempt, their challenge, they are we're minting that card, but we're actually saving it into another card on the blockchain as well, called an energy card. And this energy card contains that ledger of challenge cards. So you can think like, all right, well, that first push-up was a fail and that second one was a success, right? And so we have that on the energy card. By owning those challenge cards and owning those energy cards, you can actually increase the rarity of your energy card. Specifically, the energy cards are 998 tokens. They're ERC 998, which means that they can actually own other cards and other tokens. So by staking your challenge cards, staking those 2 push-up cards within the energy card, you've actually increased the rarity and also will earn some cool rewards for DeFi. If you're asking what are energy cards are the overarching narrative of the athlete. So if you have a skateboarder doing a kickflip, right, that's probably an energy card. And so you have a kickflip energy card, right, and then you have a double kickflip energy card, or you have a 50-50 grind down this rail energy card, right? They're very atomic and they're very malleable, depending on what the athlete needs. I think Michael Phelps has a 100-meter fly, right? So it's very malleable. You can think of the challenges are these nice little subsections of attempts, and the energy cards just kind of give them a nice big hug. And like I said, DeFi rewards, you'll earn fan tokens as you own these energy cards, which is really cool. One cool thing about also with 998s, they're batch sellable. So if you want to sell the energy card and all the challenge cards and all the fan tokens as one unit, they actually sell as one unit. So say you have a maxed out Young Kid Warrior gymnastics backflip card, right? Or a rookie card, right? You can even have rookie cards, right? You have a maxed out. You have all my challenges, and you have a bunch of fan tokens staked. You can actually sell that for a premium and earn better rewards off that. Yeah. Last but not least, for the product, I think that is the last one. Yes, are the fan clubs. This is kind of a newer idea for us, but we really want to promote these. I think these are the most important because these are the brand Legos. This is the Legos of Shenanigan, and how we can kind of shape the athlete to be a dathlete, right? Be someone who is not only using Web3 as a tool, but finds a community inside of it, and can kind of start pulling away from trying to find a sponsor or trying to do advertisements, right? I think it's better seen as this really, really bare bones Lego that we can do anything with, really. We have some ideas, we're not going to say we're out, but I think really, like I said, it's the decade of the DAO. I think really we have just started to scratch what we're going to see for DAOs. I think DAO Rush Week might agree with that as well, as why we're doing it. But I really think DAOs just have so much interoperability, and there's just so many different ways of making them work together, and especially if they're on the same platform, right? Which platform for fan clubs are going to be announced. We'll probably do Aragon because we are on Aragon, but we'll see. You can always fork a DAO, so yeah, I think that's fine for DAOs right there. Who are we looking for? Literally everybody.
Everyone, please.
Everybody. I mean, we really have the need for designers, If you want to like come design, you see these slides. These are probably not the best. I'm not a designer, but we have need for those. If you want to be a dev, we give automatic rewards through SourceCred. And so if you want to be like the future of athletes, if you want to be a part of this like really cool budding field in Web3, I think we're going to be one of the most fun apps on Web3. If you want to be part of that fun, like if you want to have like a community that's oriented around just like improvement and like enjoyment of sports, like come and join us, like be a part of it. If anything, if you have no skills whatsoever, you'll still be able to vote in the She vote and earn some sort of cred. So everybody, like it's not just for athletes. Like don't get that out of your head if you had it in your head. We just want to
I'm
help
not an athlete,
athletes.
I'm a gamer.
Right. We're a game. I am too. I haven't done a backflip in like a year. All right. We want like we want to help athletes. We don't want to just be a DAO of athletes, right? And if you are an athlete, we still want you. Come on. Malik, do you have anything you want to say before we do Q&A? That was my spiel. Thanks, guys.
So give me 1 second.
Sure.
So paralleling off, kind of what Victor said, with shenanigans and just the project being what it is, I'll speak for myself. I'm not an athlete at all, and I'm a gamer, and so for me, what I'm gonna use shenanigans for is one, to push myself with by the end of the year I want to do a handstand. That's my goal. And so it's gonna help push me to push myself. And I know it's kind of strange, but we live in a world where when people watch us do something, it makes us try. And you can be one of those people that gains encouragement or gets nervous from that. And the same thing is kind of with an athlete. Every athlete knows that feeling of that crowd cheering you on or the opposition booing. Are you the person that's going to rise up and, go with those cheers? Or are you someone that's going to fall under the weight of those boos? And with people, when we have attention on us, even if it's not directly, just knowing that people are watching gives us that drive and motive. And if this can enhance someone's life and make it better, that's our goal at the end of the day. Yes, it can come down to, our DAOs being able to brand yourself, being able to market. But at the end of the day, if it allows for just the betterment of that person's life, then that is our goal, and that what we try to achieve.
Yeah.
And so that would be my closing statement.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. Damn. It's crazy how far we've come, Malik, from the call I had with you in I think March. I want to do this for athletes. There's not athletes here. It's crazy.
It's like, hey, I have this project, and I was like, give me a month.
Tearing up. So yeah, questions, guys. Questions, please, if you have anything.
Questions, comments, concerns.
So I'll start off with a comment. So I really like what y'all are doing. In particular, people talk about crypto as this new financial system, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
To me, what I see happening with this technology is really a revolution in community life. Right now, a lot of our society is focused on political life, and corporate life, and community life kind of gets squeezed out of the way. And I think this technology can be used to put community life on par with those other two, to where we can spend more of our time doing the kind of things that we want to do with the people we choose. And that's why I think athletes are so important, both because they have strong communities of the people they do their sport with, but also because they have strong communities of people who watch them do their sport. There's people at every level that come together on a regular basis to participate in their sport, and they bring in crowds, whether it's like 8-year-olds doing their sport, teenagers doing their sport, people in college and beyond. Like there's crowds for all these kinds of things where communities are coming together to watch people do their sport. I think if we could amplify what's going on there, if we could give that kind of activity the same economic tools that nations and corporations have, then we could do a lot more together, whether it's athletes, whether it's artists, whether it's any other kind of community life. I think we can amplify a lot of that. So I really like what y'all are doing here.
Yeah, thank you. I think like you hit it on the head, man. I mean, obviously you're Metacartel. I think the cartel is the first community coming out of Web3, right? Which is maybe not the first community, but the first one kind of idolizing all the stuff that you said of like putting the community on par with making money, politics, fighting. I think too, like to add on, like it's about that community that comes to those events, and also the people that return each time, and like over the course of someone's life support them, which is really fun. Yeah, I'm glad, man. Thanks. Good question, or good comment. Any others as well? Feel free. We have more meetings too for the YouTubers out there that miss this. So if you do miss our meetings, check out our calendar. Join our Discord. You can ask more questions there if you come up with anything. Any more though? Give me a second. Oh, we lost Malik. Yeah, I think I'll ask a question for myself then, just because like for the YouTube video, how probably people are wondering how Shenanigan like plans to monetize, and like our token right now is pretty low right now, like liquidity, and how do we plan to like bump that up, and like how do we plan to like support our community and support our token. For one, I mean, we don't have a product out yet. I think that's a big thing. So token price, again, all speculation. We're both new in the Web3 space, me and Malik. I didn't really get to introduce myself, but I've done a few things here and there, a few things for Aragon, a few things for Metagame, a few things for Bright ID. I made the Bright ID bot, but I think what people are really curious about that, and I kind of want to give an answer. We do, similar to Rarible, we Shenanigan will take, every trade of the challenge cards that happens will give rewards back to the athlete as well as Shenanigan. So you can think, if challenge cards are trading very high, or if energy cards are trading very high, right? Each one of those will bring back some to our DAO treasury. I think as we've seen with Rarible, and we've seen with other NFT platforms, that's been a really good way of doing it. We don't own anything. We just take 1 or 2%. We have a DAO vote for what percentages we can take, and that will always be adjustable. So, answering my own question there. If that's it. Again, questions? I don't think so. Malik, did you have any, possible questions for the YouTube video?
Ooh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay. Yeah. That is kind of all we had. Oh, we can talk about, Malik, we're getting some feedback from you. We can talk about, I guess, for the last 18 minutes, which I'm fine not going the whole hour. We do have a partnership with OneHive. I see Metaverde here, who is, unfortunately, she's driving. She's just listening to us in her car, which I was driving during the OneHive meeting, which I probably, I didn't have a video on or anything. so that's funny. It's kind of ironic. We are having so speaking of token liquidity, and we're having a collaboration with OneHive. I was, a few months ago, I had a plan to kind of boost this liquidity problem, and I decided athletes, like sponsors, clothes, like athletes need athletic gear, right? They need kind of like cool clothes that they want to wear, and so we should make shenanigan gear. And then I was like, well, we shouldn't just make shenanigan gear for athletes. Why not give it to the token holders? Why not make it as a reward for holding the token and holding liquidity? Like, let's dish this out into this like amazing, like in a very equal, like, or anybody can get it way, but continue with the rarity of the like product. So we came up with swag and sweat, and kind of like had it all ready. We were like, all right, we're gonna do some sweatpants, and basically you will take your particle liquidity, which I can actually go to the website right here. It's not live yet. This is not a live website, but you can take your liquidity tokens for particle Wex dye, which this actually is going to change to particle honey. So you can take your particle honey liquidity tokens, and you can, Coinbase, you can actually stake them, and you'll start earning non-transferable points on the blockchain that we call sweat. And this is similar to like Avagachi's earn-based system as well. And then what you can do is, as you stake, you'll earn those points, and then you can redeem those points for swag. And so we had it ready. We were going to release it like a month or two ago. Excuse me. And then we said, well, OneHive loves to do crazy token distributions, and like OneHive is kind of like also on XDAI, and also I guess I should have said that earlier. It's also on XDAI, and also kind of like likes to do these or likes to play with tokens. And so I put a proposal up for OneHive, and had a few meetings with them in Metaverde that basically ended up with them wanting to get in on it, and kind of play with how we can release clothing and other things in cool ways to the community, using XDAI, where we don't need these crazy gas fees. So we are in the middle of like getting designs together for all of these sweatpants and all of these. I think we decided to do a tracksuit, but we have to do a DAO vote. So don't hold me to that. But we will be staking your honey or your particle or your honey particle, and you'll be able to kind of redeem them for like clothing, which will be really exciting. I think like OneHive is an amazing product, and like is really fun and does some really fun things with tokens. And I'm excited. Like, this is just V1, and I'm excited to do things like raffles, and release more swag other than the sweatpants, like, in more crazy ways that I think will be really fun. Maybe we'll have like a Celeste vote or something.
And don't think of them just as clothes. They are wearable NFTs.
Right, yeah. So you will get an NFT on top of the clothes, similar to like Unisocks, right? So you can trade your clothes on the blockchain as an NFT. Kind of like a history of ownership kind of thing as well. It'll be kind of fun, and hopefully we're hoping to have people stake their liquidity on that. So happy to be a part of OneHive and be like kind of like a mini swarm if you guys were at the OneHive meeting. So yeah, I think that's all I had. I'm gonna let you guys go 14 minutes early, so you can go eat dinner, or if you're on the East Coast, eat dinner. If you're on the West Coast, go for a run or work off lunch, So yeah.
Thank you everyone for coming, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Bye.